What's up YouTube? It's SmartVan here. One of the most common questions I get in the comments is asking how I'm finding the Cascade Camper. So today I want to give my honest review of the Cascade Camper conversion. For those of you who don't know me, my channel is called SmartVan, and it's about producing the ultimate internet-connected smart camper van. So think sensors, computers, and controlling stuff from my smartphone. I've been using this van for 3 years now, and I've both used it as a recreational camper and I've lived in it full time. So I'm going to be approaching my review from those angles. Finally, just a quick note that this is my honest review. I'm not getting paid by Cascade Camper, and my opinions are just my own experience. They may not be representative of yours or anyone else's. So with that said, let's talk about Cascade Camper. So this company, Cascade Camper, they convert Ram ProMaster City vans into camper vans. It was started and is currently run by a guy named Zach. And by now he's built over 180 camper vans. Each Cascade Camper has a metal plate on the inside that's individually numbered, so there's a serial number. And SmartVan is van number 6. So some of the stuff you see in this video is outdated, and I will point out where that's the case. But most of the conversion is still the same. If you want to see a full tour of the Cascade Camper, check out the Cascade Camper van tour by Zach in this video's description. Alright, I'm going to talk about 4 main things in this review. First, I'm going to talk about the price and whether or not I think it's still worth it. Second, I'm going to talk about the design and some of the things that I like and dislike about it. Next, I'm going to talk about durability and how things have held up over the years. Finally, I'm going to talk about the Cascade Camper community. All right, are you ready? Let's get started. All right, first topic I want to talk about is the price. And this one is perhaps the most controversial because when I first got this conversion, it cost $6,000. Then it went to $7,000. And finally, today, it's now $8,000, even though it seems like the conversion is still more or less the same. So what's going on here? I don't know why the price is going up, but I can speculate. On the one hand, it might be because the cost of materials or labor is getting more expensive. On the other hand, it could just be a consequence of supply and demand. There are a lot of people looking for a camper conversion done by professionals, and there aren't very many people converting these small camper vans into campers. From what I heard, there can be lead times to getting a Cascade Camper from weeks to months, which means there's a line to get these things, which means there's more people looking than a capacity to build them. Short answer, the price is that high because people are willing to pay for it. But to put this in perspective, the Ram ProMaster City has an MSRP of $25,000. I happened to buy this one used with 30,000 miles on it for $15,000, which means whether you buy this thing new or used, probably the most expensive factor in your total cost of ownership is not going to be the conversion itself. All right, as far as the other options on the market, I think $8,000 is still on the low to mid range, and here's why. On the one hand, you have a company called Recon that produces a conversion called the Recon Envy for $35,000, all right? This is produced for the NV200, which is kind of like Nissan's version of the Ram ProMaster City. It's also a way more premium experience. They're probably using nicer materials, and they have some features that are very expensive, like having a pop top. However, $35,000 is a lot more than $8,000, and so let's just remember that the high-end price is $35K. On the lower end, you have companies like Wayfarer, which will sell you a $5,000 conversion kit. But this kit is very bare bones. It doesn't have a sink, it doesn't have a fridge, you're not getting solar, you're not having a fan. It's just you have a bed and a table. And finally, there's a new option that wasn't around when I was getting this built out. They're called Contra vans, and it looks like they convert the Ram ProMaster City as well. They are charging anywhere between $7,000 and $10,000. They have a more a la carte style, and so you have to, for instance, pay extra to get solar. I haven't looked into them too much, but it looks like they do produce some interesting designs, and if you like them, you should definitely check them out. In conclusion, I think $8,000 for the Cascade Camper conversion is still pretty competitive. In fact, if you look at the feature list for Cascade Camper versus the $35,000 Recon Camper, you'll see that a lot of the features are in the Cascade Camper as well. It's just missing that very expensive pop-up top modification. Which brings me to the final point. Is it worth it? Well, I think that's kind of a personal question because the question is basically, is it worth it to you? The unmentioned alternative to all these professional conversions is just doing it yourself. My goal is to produce the ultimate internet-connected smart van. It's not necessarily to tweak and build my own van furniture exactly how I like it. If you are into building custom furniture for your van and you want to build like a really cool custom conversion, I think that's what you should do. But if your goal is just to live in this van or camp and you don't really care about learning how to build it on your own, then I would not build it from scratch. All right, that's all I have on price for now. Let's talk about the design. So for design, I just want to quickly enumerate all of the things that I like and dislike, and we'll start with some of the stuff that I like. So the first aspect of this conversion that I really like is the couch. And specifically, it's that the couch can convert into a bed with a mechanism that's very easy to operate and can be done with the doors closed, which is really good for stealth camping. This means that I can set the van up without having to open any doors and people looking inside. And once that bed is set up, it's still easy to access the sink and refrigerator, which is important because, I'll use that sink to brush my teeth and I will have breakfast in that refrigerator for the morning. Now the other mode of the bed is couch mode, where it's folded up, and over here it makes a very spacious couch. I've had like 4 people, sit on this couch and hang out, and it's very comfortable when it's just me to just lean back on this front part of the chair because the driver's seat is located in a way such that it's very nice for reclining. So another aspect I like is storage in this van. And one of the really nice things that I mentioned earlier is that all of these shelves have lips so that the contents don't spill out when the van is moving. So there's a lot of space in this conversion, which I really like. And one of them is this area behind the fridge, which I use to put my trash bags. There's also a bunch more space behind the seat itself, and if you tilt it forward, you even get this kind of like secret compartment, which I put like jumper cables and tire patch kits and stuff like that. But yeah, there's no shortage of space in this conversion, so there's definitely like an opportunity to carry a lot of stuff. All right, now for some small things. The vent fan, really important when living in a van, I think, because it adds circulation. And I have an adjustable speed setting as well so that I can leave it on all night. By default, the Cascade Camper comes with 1 fan, but I have seen people get 2 fans installed, so I think this is a modification that you can get, and it might just be worth talking with Zach to see how much that would cost extra, because it might be worth it for even more ventilation. And the red light. So this is one of those features where I kind of underlooked this when I first got the kit, but the more I've used it, the more I've grown to appreciate that it is really nice to have this source of light that doesn't impair your night vision and just add some warmness to the kit. And this curtain that separates the front and back cabins is surprisingly insulating and was really nice when camping in the desert or extreme cold. Now for some of the negatives. First of all, there's no gray water tank. So when you turn the sink on, the water just flows out the back of the car. And this is okay for campgrounds, which is what this was designed for, but it is not very nice when you're trying to stealth camp. This is also a problem for places which don't allow you to leak water onto the ground, but I've gotten away with using an oil pan as a gray water tank before. If you like to cook, just note that the Cascade Camper does not come with a built-in stove. Instead, it comes with this portable stove, so that might be a little bit less convenient if you cook a lot. And as I mentioned earlier, the fan that it comes with is not the strongest. There is a trade-off between stealth and, a really strong fan. And so my recommendation is possibly get 2 of these if you're going to get this kit. And final thing is just a personal preference, but the foam that comes with the bed/couch is pretty firm, and I like a softer sleeping surface, and so I had to add a mattress topper that I use. Alright, now let's talk durability. The number one issue I had is one that a lot of people mentioned that I would have in my original van tour video. So you guys are right, the flat solar panels did not hold up very well. What happened is that moisture seems to have gotten inside of the panel, and it's built up as condensation between the cell and the top laminate, and so what ends up happening is that the panel is slightly cloudy overall, and that reduces the amount of light that makes it through. This makes it take longer to charge the house battery, and when I measured the voltage output with a multimeter, I found that this panel is only producing about 66 watts instead of the full 100. The good news though is that new Cascade campers come with better solar panels made by a company called SunPower instead of the version that I have, which is made by kind of an off-brand called All Power. That said though, I really like flat panels. I think they're so much better for stealth, and even if I end up having to replace these sooner, I'm still going to get flat panels in the future. Other than that, the durability of this conversion has been very good so far, and I've definitely put this through a lot of harsh conditions. In fact, the part that I worry about is not so much the conversion itself, but the platform, so the ProMaster City. For instance, right now there's a manufacturer recall out for ProMaster Cities that consume too much oil, so I gotta get that checked out. Alright, the final topic I want to talk about today is something that I didn't expect when I first got the conversion, but has turned out to be very important, and that is community. It turns out there is a benefit to sharing the same design with hundreds of other people, which is that we all end up having very similar experiences. So the Cascade Camper customer forum has over 160 members, and there's a lot of activity on this forum. I think there's at least 3 posts a week. And people post about, the adventures that they're having, as well as any problems they're having, or any unique and interesting solutions they have to those problems. I got permission from Steve and Jody, 2 common posters in this group, to share some of the posts that they've made. So right off the bat, one of the first things people post is the name and number of their camper van. So Jody's making a post saying that number 167 is Myrtle the Sea Turtle. Here's one example of a travel post by Steve with his van number 24. And here's another post by Steve sharing a Bluetooth battery monitor that he found on Amazon. These are just a few examples, but there are hundreds of posts out there, and it's so interesting for me to see all the adventures that people are having, as well as some of the tips and tricks that people share. There are also events organized by Cascade Campers, such as meetups for owners of Cascade Campers. I've posted a few of my projects onto the Cascade Campers forum so far, and I'll probably continue to do so. So if any of you out there watching this eventually makes it to the forums, definitely say hi to me. I'll be posting there as number 6, Smart Van. Alright, so that concludes my review of the Cascade Camper conversion kit. If you have any other questions that I didn't answer here, leave them in the comment section and I'll respond in a comment. Remember that the Cascade Camper is continuously evolving, and I'm told by Zach that there are hundreds of small improvements that he's done since he's built this one, and so I'm very excited to go visit him on my next road trip, and I'll check out some of the new Cascade Camper builds, and I will hopefully make a video for you guys at the time. It sounds like Cascade Camper has 2 locations now. They are in Nevada City in California and also Seattle, Washington. I also reached out to Zach for this video and got a statement from him as well. I'll read it to you guys right now. So Zach says, "We have built 187 Cascade Campers as of today. The build takes 1 day in our Nevada City shop, and as of February, Ilsa is opening a Seattle build shop that will be doing 2 to 3 day builds. Between the 2 shops, we build 14 of them a month, and we will be scaling up to do as many as 20 a month over the next few months. We are still focused on everything being a win-win-win. Us, customers, and the environment/community. Making the world a better place 1 camper van at a time." Alright, so that was a statement from Zach, the founder of Cascade Campers, and I gotta say, from all of my interactions with him, it's really apparent to me that this guy loves camper vans. I honestly can't imagine anyone better to have done my van conversion, and I'm really glad that he's out there sharing his camper van designs with people. My last tip is on how to try the Cascade Camper before you buy it. This is something that I did before I pulled the trigger on the conversion, which is I went on a site called Outdoorsy, which is kind of like Airbnb but for camper vans. And I rented a Cascade Camper and just tried out the conversion, and that's when I knew that this was the one for me. And so if you're interested, you can try searching in your area, seeing if people are listing their Cascade Campers up, and see if you can try it out in person. Thanks so much for watching, and if you're interested in tutorials on how to modify your camper, or just following me along my journey as I produce the ultimate smart van, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And remember, if you have any other questions, leave them in the comments and I will get back to you. Thanks a lot.